Future Billionaires, written and published by Rich Audiobooks. Some people just have it, the mindset, the drive, the patterns that quietly predict massive wealth. They may not have the money yet, but the signs are already there. From how they think to how they act when no one is watching, future billionaires move differently. This isn't about luck or inheritance, it's about the habits, energy, and decisions that set the rich in their making apart from the rest. Want to spot them or become one? Here's how. Lesson 1. They think 10x, not 10%. The fundamental difference between future billionaires and everyone else begins with how they approach growth and possibilities. While most people aim for modest improvements, a 10% increase in sales, a 10% raise, or a 10% better product, future billionaires consistently think in terms of multiplication rather than addition. They don't ask, how can I do this slightly better? Instead, they ask, how can I do this 10 times better? This 10x mindset isn't just about setting bigger goals, it's about fundamentally reimagining what's possible. When Elon Musk entered the automotive industry, he didn't aim to make slightly better cars than Toyota or Ford. He set out to transform the entire transportation industry and accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. This thinking led to Tesla becoming more valuable than all major traditional automakers combined. The power of 10x thinking lies in how it forces you to approach problems differently. When you aim for a 10% improvement, you naturally gravitate toward conventional solutions, working harder, optimizing existing processes, or making incremental adjustments. But when you aim for a 10x improvement, these traditional approaches become instantly inadequate. You're forced to question basic assumptions and seek entirely new ways of solving problems. Consider Jeff Bezos' approach to retail. While traditional retailers focused on improving their existing stores by 10% better layouts, improved inventory management, more efficient checkouts, Bezos reimagined retail entirely. He saw that the future of shopping wasn't about making stores better, it was about eliminating the need for physical stores altogether. This 10x vision led to Amazon becoming one of the most valuable companies in history. The fascinating aspect of 10x thinking is that it often requires less resource investment than pursuing 10% improvements. When you're forced to think at this scale, you can't rely on brute force or throwing money at problems. You must find leverage points where small inputs create massive outputs. Future billionaires understand this paradox. Thinking bigger often leads to simpler, more elegant solutions that scale exponentially. This mindset extends beyond business strategy into personal development and skill acquisition. Future billionaires don't aim to be slightly better than their competitors. They aim to be in a league of their own. They identify areas where they can create unique value propositions that make competition irrelevant. This might mean combining disparate skills in novel ways or developing expertise in emerging fields before others recognize their importance. The 10x mindset also changes how future billionaires view failure and risk. When pursuing 10% improvements, failures feel catastrophic because the potential upside is limited. But when operating with a 10x mindset, individual failures become learning experiments on the path to exponential success. This psychological shift enables future billionaires to take calculated risks that others avoid. Most importantly, 10x thinking creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you consistently think in terms of multiplication rather than addition, you attract others who share this mindset. You begin to see opportunities that remain invisible to incremental thinkers. Your standards for what constitutes success shift dramatically, and what once seemed impossible becomes your new baseline. The gap between 10% and 10x thinking explains why some people can create extraordinary wealth while others remain stuck in gradual improvement cycles. Future billionaires understand that in a world of exponential change, linear thinking is not just insufficient, it's a liability. They recognize that the biggest risk isn't thinking too big and failing, it's thinking too small and succeeding at something that doesn't matter. Lesson 2. They learn faster than they earn. The greatest predictor of future wealth isn't your current salary, it's your learning velocity. Future billionaires understand that knowledge compounds faster than money, and they structure their lives around rapid learning rather than immediate earning. Look at any future titan of industry and you'll notice a pattern. They're voracious learners who prioritize understanding over income. While their peers chase quarterly bonuses and annual raises, These people immerse themselves in new skills, technologies, and market dynamics. They recognize that today's valuable knowledge might be obsolete tomorrow, so they maintain a perpetual state of intellectual growth. This learning orientation manifests in distinct ways. Future billionaires don't just read books, they devour entire domains of knowledge. They seek out experts, attend specialized conferences, and engage in deep conversations with thought leaders in their fields. They're often the first to experiment with emerging technologies, not because it's trendy, but because they understand that early exposure to innovation creates asymmetric advantage. Consider how Elon Musk taught himself rocket science by reading textbooks and questioning experts, or how Mark Zuckerberg learned Mandarin while running Facebook. These aren't mere hobbies or publicity stunts. They're deliberate investments in intellectual capital that yield exponential returns. The pattern holds true across industries. Future billionaires consistently prioritize learning over immediate financial gain. Their approach to learning differs fundamentally from traditional education. They don't wait for formal instruction or credentials. Instead, they create personalized learning systems that maximize both speed and retention. They might listen to audiobooks at double speed during their commute, maintain detailed digital notes of their insights, or teach concepts to others to reinforce their understanding. Every moment becomes an opportunity for knowledge acquisition. This learning-first mindset often requires making counterintuitive career decisions. A future billionaire might take a lower-paying job at a cutting-edge startup over a prestigious position at an established firm. They might step away from a successful career to explore an emerging industry. These choices seem risky to outside observers, but they reflect a deep understanding that knowledge appreciation outpaces monetary appreciation in the long run. The most striking aspect of this pattern is how future billionaires view learning as a competitive advantage. They don't just learn for personal enrichment, they learn to identify opportunities others miss. Every new piece of knowledge becomes a lens through which they evaluate potential ventures and innovations. Their broad knowledge base allows them to make connections across disciplines, often leading to breakthrough insights that form the basis of billion-dollar enterprises. Time allocation reveals this priority clearly. While others spend their free time consuming entertainment, future billionaires invest those same hours in learning. They turn dead time into learning time, whether it's during exercise, travel, or daily routines. This constant input of new information and ideas creates a compound effect that accelerates their capability to generate wealth. The digital age has amplified this advantage. With unlimited access to information, the gap between aggressive learners and passive consumers widens daily. Future billionaires leverage this reality by creating sophisticated personal learning networks. They combine online courses, expert mentorship, peer groups, and practical application to accelerate their learning far beyond traditional rates. This commitment to learning extends beyond individual knowledge to organizational learning. Future billionaires build companies that learn faster than their competitors. They institute systems for knowledge sharing, encourage experimentation, and create cultures where learning from failure is celebrated. This scaling of learning capacity becomes a crucial differentiator in their journey to extraordinary wealth. The relationship between learning velocity and wealth creation becomes clear. Those who learn faster create opportunities faster. They spot trends earlier, adapt to changes quicker, and innovate more effectively. In a world where traditional advantages are rapidly eroding, the ability to learn faster than your competition becomes the ultimate edge. Future billionaires don't just understand this principle, they embody it in every aspect of their lives. Lesson 3. They solve big problems with bold ideas. The fundamental difference between future billionaires and everyone else isn't just their ability to solve problems, it's their instinct for choosing which problems to solve. While most people focus on addressing immediate, personal challenges, future billionaires deliberately seek out massive, systemic issues that affect millions or even billions of people. Consider climate change, healthcare accessibility, or global education inequality. These aren't just challenges, they're trillion-dollar opportunities waiting for bold solutions. Future billionaires understand that the magnitude of wealth creation is directly proportional to the scale of the problem being solved. They recognize that solving a problem that affects 1 billion people, even with a small profit margin per person, creates vastly more value than solving a niche problem for a limited market. This approach to problem solving requires a unique perspective. While others see overwhelming challenges, future billionaires see untapped markets. Take Elon Musk's approach to sustainable energy and space exploration. These weren't just ambitious technical challenges, they represented fundamental bottlenecks in human progress. By targeting these massive problems, he positioned himself at the intersection of necessity and innovation, where true wealth creation occurs. The method these future wealth creators use to evaluate problems is equally distinctive. They look for issues that persist despite existing solutions, indicating a fundamental flaw in current approaches. They seek problems that are growing in significance, not diminishing. And most importantly, they look for problems where solving them creates a natural monopoly or network effect, ensuring that the solution's value compounds over time. But identifying big problems is only half the equation. Future billionaires pair these massive challenges with equally bold solutions. They reject conventional wisdom that suggests incremental improvements are the safe path forward. Instead, they embrace first principles thinking, questioning fundamental assumptions and rebuilding solutions from the ground up. This approach often leads to breakthroughs that others dismissed as impossible or impractical. Their bold ideas often seem crazy at first, until they don't. When Jeff Bezos proposed selling books online in the early 1990s, many thought the idea was absurd. When Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia suggested people would rent rooms in their homes to strangers, the concept seemed dangerous and unrealistic. Yet these bold solutions to significant problems in the world of inefficiency and accommodation accessibility created some of the most valuable companies in the world. Future billionaires also understand that timing is crucial in problem solving. They develop an acute sense of when a problem solution has become technically feasible but hasn't yet been widely implemented. They recognize when social, technological, or economic conditions have aligned to make a previously impossible solution viable. This awareness of timing helps them move decisively when opportunities emerge. The way future billionaires approach problem validation is also distinct. Rather than conducting endless market research or focusing on competitor analysis, they immerse themselves in understanding the problem at its core. They often experience the problem firsthand or spend significant time with those affected by it. This deep understanding leads to insights that others miss and solutions that address root causes rather than symptoms. Perhaps most importantly, future billionaires are willing to dedicate substantial portions of their lives to solving these problems. They understand that transformative solutions rarely emerge quickly or easily. They commit to long-term engagement with their chosen problems, often working on them for decades. This persistence, combined with the scale of the problems they tackle and the boldness of their solutions, creates the potential for unprecedented value creation. The selection of which problems to solve becomes a defining choice that shapes not just their potential for wealth creation, but their entire life's work. They understand that by choosing to solve problems that matter deeply to humanity's progress, they align their success with the advancement of civilization itself. Lesson 4. They act before they feel ready. The most telling sign of a future billionaire isn't their brilliant strategy or their perfect business plan. It's their bias toward action when others are still waiting for the perfect moment. While most people wait until they feel completely prepared, future billionaires understand that readiness is a myth that keeps the majority stuck in perpetual preparation. Look at any billionaire's origin story and you'll find a moment when they jumped before they felt ready. Mark Zuckerberg launched Facebook when he was still a college student, not after graduating and gaining industry experience. Sarah Blakely started Spanx while selling fax machines, not after becoming a fashion industry expert. They understood that timing and momentum matter more than perfect preparation. This action orientation stems from a fundamental understanding that markets wait for no one. The window of opportunity often closes while most people are still perfecting their plans. Future billionaires recognize that a good plan executed today is better than a perfect plan executed next year. They view imperfect action as a form of real-world research and development, providing insights that no amount of theoretical preparation can match. The secret lies in their relationship with uncertainty. Where others see uncertainty as a signal to wait and gather more information, future billionaires see it as a natural part of the journey. They've trained themselves to operate effectively within uncertainty, understanding that clarity comes through action, not contemplation. This doesn't mean they act recklessly, rather they take calculated risks while maintaining enough flexibility to adjust course based on real-world. Fear plays a different role in their decision-making process. While most people let fear stop them, future billionaires use it as a compass. When they feel fear, they recognize it as a signal that they're pushing beyond their comfort zone, exactly where growth and opportunity reside. They've learned to separate valid concerns from fear-based excuses, allowing them to move forward even when uncomfortable. Their secret weapon is rapid iteration. Instead of trying to get everything right the first time, they focus on getting the first version out quickly and improving it based on real feedback. This approach allows them to learn and adapt faster than competitors who are still perfecting their initial offering. They understand that success is iterative, not immediate, and that the fastest path to improvement is through actual market interaction. The ability to act before feeling ready also creates a powerful competitive advantage. While others are waiting for the perfect moment, future billionaires are gaining real-world experience, building market presence, and establishing relationships with customers and partners. This early mover advantage often proves more valuable than perfect preparation, as it allows them to capture market share and learn crucial lessons before others even enter the game. Most importantly, future billionaires understand that readiness is developed through action, not preparation. They know that the skills, confidence, and knowledge needed for success are primarily gained through experience, not pre-planning. Each action they take, regardless of the outcome, builds their capability and readiness for the next, bigger opportunity. This bias toward action extends beyond business launches to daily decision-making. Future billionaires make decisions quickly, understanding that speed of execution often matters more than perfection of choice. They've developed the ability to make good decisions with incomplete information, recognizing that waiting for complete information often means missing opportunities entirely. Their action orientation becomes a self-reinforcing cycle. Each time they act before feeling ready and survive or even thrive, their confidence grows. This increased confidence makes them more likely to take action in the future, creating a virtuous cycle of action and growth that compounds over time. While others are still waiting to feel ready, they're building empires on the foundation of imperfect but immediate action. Lesson 5. They network up, not sideways. Future billionaires understand that their network determines their net worth, but they approach relationship building differently than most. While average professionals network sideways, connecting with peers at their current level, future billionaires consistently network up, forging relationships with those who are already operating at their aspirational level. This upward networking isn't about collecting powerful names or shallow connections. It's about strategically positioning oneself in environments where exceptional thinking, opportunities, and resources naturally flow. Future billionaires recognize that being the smallest fish in a big pond accelerates their growth far more than being a big fish in a small pond. They achieve this through what's known as relationship arbitrage, the practice of creating value by connecting different networks and bringing unique insights from one circle to another. When you can bridge gaps between different worlds, you become invaluable to those above you. Future billionaires don't ask for mentorship directly. They find ways to become useful to those they want to learn from. The proximity principle plays a crucial role in this strategy. By consistently placing themselves in the orbit of high-achieving people, future billionaires absorb their mindsets, standards, and decision-making frameworks through osmosis. They join exclusive clubs, attend high-ticket events, and participate in masterminds where entry barriers ensure everyone in the room thinks bigger than average. These rising wealth creators understand that true network value isn't measured by the number of connections, but by the quality of thinking within their circle. They actively prune their network, sometimes making difficult decisions to distance themselves from relationships that reinforce average thinking or drain their energy. Every hour spent with someone who accepts mediocrity is an hour not spent with someone who could expand their possibilities. Future billionaires also leverage what's called the network effect in their relationship building. They know that each high-quality connection can lead to exponentially more opportunities through second- and third-degree connections. They focus on becoming super connectors, people who can create value by introducing others who should know each other. This makes them indispensable even to those far above their current station. They approach networking with a long-term mindset, understanding that relationships compound like investments. Rather than asking what they can get from each interaction, they ask what they can invest. They look for ways to help solve problems, share insights, or make introductions without expecting immediate returns. This patient, value-first approach builds trust and creates opportunities that wouldn't be available through traditional networking tactics. Most importantly, future billionaires recognize that upward networking isn't about social climbing or manipulation. It's about elevating their own standards and capabilities. When you regularly interact with people operating at higher levels, your definition of what's possible expands. Your ideas get sharper, your execution gets faster, and your vision gets bigger. The relationships themselves become catalysts for personal and professional growth. They also understand the power of selective accessibility. While they make themselves valuable to those above them, they carefully guard their own time and energy. As their network grows in value, they become increasingly selective about who gets access to their inner circle. This creates a positive feedback loop where the quality of their network continuously improves, making them even more attractive to high-value connections. The pattern is clear. Future billionaires don't network to collect business cards or LinkedIn connections. They strategically build relationships that challenge their thinking, expand their opportunities, and accelerate their journey to extraordinary wealth. They understand that the fastest way to change their life is to change who they spend their time with, and they act accordingly. Lesson 6. They treat time like money and money like time. Future billionaires understand a fundamental truth that escapes most people. Time and money are interchangeable currencies, and mastering their relationship is crucial for extraordinary wealth creation. While the average person trades time for money in a linear fashion, future billionaires operate with a sophisticated understanding of temporal and financial arbitrage. These wealth creators recognize that every minute spent on low-value activities represents an opportunity cost that compounds over time. They approach their calendar with the same rigorous analysis they apply to their investment portfolio, regularly auditing how they spend their hours and measuring the return on their temporal investment. This mindset shift transforms mundane daily decisions into strategic choices that accelerate wealth accumulation. The most striking characteristic of future billionaires is their willingness to spend money to buy back time. While others might balk at paying for services that save them a few hours each week, these people understand that those recovered hours, when invested in high-leverage activities, can generate returns that dwarf the initial expense. They hire personal assistants, outsource routine tasks, and build teams not just for delegation, but for multiplication of their impact. This sophisticated approach to time extends to their investment strategies. Future billionaires view money not as a static resource, but as a tool for buying future time and opportunity. They invest early in ventures that might not pay off for years, understanding that patience and strategic timing often yield exponential returns. This long-term perspective allows them to see opportunities others miss, particularly in emerging technologies or markets where the timeline to profitability requires unusual patience. Their relationship with time also influences how they structure their businesses and personal lives. They design systems that generate value while they sleep, creating multiple streams of passive income that effectively multiply their available time. This might mean building automated business processes, investing in cash-flowing assets, or developing intellectual property that can be licensed repeatedly without additional time investment. The most successful wealth creators also understand the concept of time leverage. They recognize that not all hours are created equal. Some moments offer disproportionate opportunities for value creation. These people structure their lives to maximize their presence and focus during these high-leverage periods, whether it's market openings, strategic negotiations, or crucial decision points in their ventures. This sophisticated understanding of the time-money relationship also influences how future billionaires approach learning and skill development. They invest heavily in knowledge and capabilities that offer compound returns over time, often spending significant money on specialized training, exclusive mentorship, or unique experiences that accelerate their learning curve. Perhaps most importantly, future billionaires understand that wealth itself is ultimately about time freedom. While others chase money for its own sake, these people see financial resources as a means to control their time completely. This perspective leads them to make different decisions about both time and money management, focusing on investments and activities that increase their autonomy and ability to allocate their hours according to their highest priority. Their approach to expenses also reflects this sophisticated understanding. While they might spend lavishly on time-saving tools and services, They're often surprisingly frugal in areas that don't offer temporal returns. This selective deployment of resources demonstrates their understanding that true wealth is measured not in dollars, but in the freedom to control one's time completely. Lesson 7. They don't need motivation, they have vision. Future billionaires operate on a fundamentally different fuel source than the average person. While most people rely on motivation, that fleeting burst of energy that comes and goes like waves, future billionaires are powered by something far more potent: vision. They understand that motivation is an unreliable companion, prone to desertion precisely when you need it most. Vision, on the other hand, remains steadfast through both triumphs and tribulation. The distinction between motivation and vision becomes clear when you observe how future billionaires approach their daily work. They don't wake up asking themselves if they feel like working today. Their vision of the future is so compelling, so deeply ingrained in their psyche, that action becomes automatic. Take Jeff Bezos' early vision of Amazon, Earth's most customer-centric company. This vision wasn't just a catchy slogan. It was a North Star that guided thousands of decisions, from one-click ordering to prime delivery. Vision creates a psychological force field that makes inaction more uncomfortable than action. When Elon Musk envisioned humans becoming a multiplanetary species, this vision became so real to him that not working toward it would have felt like a betrayal of humanity's potential. This is the power of vision. It transforms work from something you have to do into something you can't not do. Future billionaires also understand that vision operates on multiple time horizons simultaneously. They maintain a clear picture of their ultimate destination while breaking it down into vivid intermediate stages. This creates what psychologists call temporal landmarks, future reference points, that feel real enough to influence present behavior. Sarah Blakely didn't just envision Spanx as a successful company. She visualized her products on the shelves of major retailers before she had even created her first prototype. The process of developing such a vision isn't about positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. Future billionaires engage in what might be called strategic visualization, a deliberate practice of mapping out future scenarios with such detail and conviction that they become inevitable rather than merely possible. They spend significant time in this future state, mentally inhabiting it, until it feels more real than their current reality. This vision-driven approach also creates a unique relationship with obstacles. When you're operating from motivation, obstacles tend to deplete your energy and enthusiasm. But when you're guided by vision, obstacles become mere technical problems to solve rather than emotional hurdles to overcome. Future billionaires view challenges through the lens of how, not if. Their vision acts as a powerful filter, helping them distinguish between genuine roadblocks and mere distractions. The most powerful aspect of vision-driven behavior is its ability to attract resources and opportunities. When your vision is clear and compelling, it acts like a magnet, drawing in the people, capital, and circumstances needed for its realization. This is why future billionaires often seem to have an uncanny ability to be in the right place at the right time. Their vision creates a gravitational pull that bends reality toward their goals. Vision also provides something that motivation never can: meaning. Future billionaires aren't just working for financial returns. They're working to bring something new into existence. This sense of purpose creates resilience that surpasses any temporary motivational boost. It's why they can persist through years of setbacks and criticism, maintaining their course while others fall away. Their vision isn't just about what they want to achieve, hope they will. Lesson 8. They obsess over systems, not effort. The path to extraordinary wealth isn't paved with extraordinary effort. It's built on extraordinary systems. Future billionaires understand that while hard work matters, it's the least scalable resource at their disposal. They recognize that the highest leverage activity they can engage in is designing systems that produce results without their constant intervention. Consider the fundamental difference between a small business owner who works 80-hour weeks to keep their restaurant running and a future restaurant mogul who spends those same hours designing systems for staff training, quality control, and customer experience that can be replicated across hundreds of locations. The first person is trapped in an effort-based paradigm, while the second is operating from a systems-based mindset. This systems-first approach extends far beyond business operations. Future billionaires apply systematic thinking to every aspect of their lives. They create morning routines that automatically prime them for peak performance, information filters that curate high-quality inputs without active management, and decision-making frameworks that eliminate the cognitive load of repetitive choices. Each system they build becomes a permanent asset that compounds over time. The true power of systems reveals itself in their ability to scale. While human effort faces clear biological limits, there are only so many hours in a day and human energy is finite. Systems can grow indefinitely. A well-designed system can serve one customer or 1 million customers with relatively similar infrastructure. This is why future billionaires spend considerable time thinking about automation, delegation, and process optimization, even when their operations are still small. What's particularly fascinating about systems-oriented people is their response to problems. Where others see obstacles that require more effort to overcome, they see opportunities to design better systems. A delivery delay doesn't prompt them to work faster, triggers the creation of a new logistics system. A customer service issue doesn't lead to longer hours. It sparks the development of a proactive customer success protocol. Future billionaires also understand that systems thinking applies to personal development. Instead of relying on willpower to maintain good habits, they engineer their environment to make desired behaviors automatic and undesired behaviors difficult. They don't try to remember important information. They know briefings meet them under right people. They create systematic approaches to relationship building. The most powerful aspect of systems thinking is its compound effect. Small improvements in system efficiency don't just add up, they multiply. A 1% improvement in a system that runs thousands of times creates exponentially better results over time. This is why future billionaires obsess over fine-tuning their systems, knowing that minor adjustments can lead to massive outcomes at scale. Their systematic approach also creates unprecedented freedom. While those trapped in the effort paradigm must always be present to generate results, systems thinkers can step away without everything falling apart. Their wealth-building machines continue to operate whether they're sleeping, vacationing, or working on their next big idea. This autonomy is what enables future billionaires to think bigger and tackle larger opportunities while their existing ventures continue to thrive. The shift from effort-based thinking to systems-based thinking represents one of the most crucial transformations in the journey to extraordinary wealth. Future billionaires understand that their success won't come from working harder than everyone else. It will come from building better systems than everyone else. They know that in a world of increasing complexity and scale, the ultimate competitive advantage lies not in personal capability, but in systematic reproducibility. Lesson 9. They don't chase trends, they create them. The fundamental difference between future billionaires and trend followers lies in their relationship with market movements. While most people frantically try to catch the latest wave, future billionaires are quietly building the next tsunami. They understand that following trends is a recipe for mediocrity. By the time something becomes trendy, the biggest opportunities have already been captured. This forward-thinking mindset manifests in their ability to see around corners and anticipate needs before they become obvious to the masses. Steve Jobs didn't conduct market research to determine if people wanted an iPhone. He understood that creating something revolutionary would shape consumer behavior and establish entirely new markets. This is the essence of trend creation, seeing possibilities where others see limitation. Future billionaires possess an almost supernatural ability to detect subtle shifts in technology, society, and human behavior long before they become mainstream. They combine these insights with deep domain expertise to identify inflection points where new trends can emerge. They don't simply predict the future, they actively shape it through strategic innovation and market creation. Their approach to trend creation is methodical and deliberate. They immerse themselves in emerging technologies and developing social patterns, not to follow them, but to understand how these elements can be recombined in novel ways. They study human nature and psychological constants while staying attuned to evolving consumer behaviors. This dual focus allows them to create trends that feel both revolutionary and inevitable. The wealth-building power of trend creation comes from the exponential advantage of being first. When you create a trend, you don't just capture market share. You define the market itself. You set the rules, establish the standards, and build the infrastructure that others will eventually depend on. This creates powerful network effects and sustainable competitive advantages that are difficult for latecomers to overcome. Future billionaires also understand that genuine trend creation requires patience and conviction. They often work on ideas that seem crazy to contemporaries, enduring skepticism and ridicule while building something truly transformative. Jeff Bezos faced years of criticism and mockery while building Amazon, but his vision of e-commerce revolution proved prescient. This willingness to be misunderstood is a crucial characteristic of trend creation. They also recognize that trend creation isn't about random innovation, it's about strategic positioning at the intersection of multiple emerging forces. Uber didn't just create a new taxi service, it capitalized on the convergence of smartphone adoption, GPS technology, digital payments, and changing consumer expectations about convenience. This multidimensional awareness allows future billionaires to create trends that are both revolutionary and robust. Perhaps most importantly, future billionaires understand that lasting wealth comes from creating trends that solve fundamental human problems or fulfill deep-seated human desires. They don't chase superficial fads or create artificial needs. Instead, they identify genuine pain points and develop solutions that become inevitable once introduced. This focus on fundamental value ensures that the trends they create have staying power beyond the initial hype cycle. The skill of trend creation can be developed through conscious practice. It starts with cultivating deep curiosity about how the world works, developing expertise in specific domains, and maintaining the courage to pursue non-consensus views. Future billionaires consistently ask themselves what missing pieces could unlock new possibilities, what barriers they could eliminate, and what new combinations could create breakthrough value. A mindset of proactive trend creation rather than reactive trend following becomes a self-reinforcing cycle. Each successful trend creation builds deeper insight, stronger networks, and greater resources for future innovations. While others exhaust themselves trying to catch up with the latest trends, future billionaires focus their energy on shaping the next wave of change, positioning themselves to capture the lion's share of value in the markets they create. Lesson 10. They build assets, not status. The fundamental difference between those who will accumulate vast wealth and those who won't often comes down to a simple choice: building assets versus chasing status. Future billionaires understand that status symbols are wealth destroyers, while assets are wealth multipliers. They recognize that every dollar spent on maintaining appearances is a dollar that could have been invested in something that generates returns. This mindset manifests in surprising ways. While their peers are buying luxury cars, future billionaires are buying rental properties. While others are upgrading to premium office space, they're investing in automated systems. While contemporaries are joining exclusive clubs, they're buying shares in growing companies. The pattern is consistent. They consistently choose ownership over consumption, and they're willing to appear less successful in the short term to build real wealth in the long term. The asset-first mentality extends beyond traditional investments. Future billionaires view everything through the lens of asset creation. Their relationships are assets that compound over time. Their knowledge is an asset that appreciates with application. Their reputation is an asset that opens doors to opportunities. Even their mistakes are treated as assets, expensive lessons that provide valuable insights for future ventures. They understand that true wealth isn't about what you can buy, it's about what you own that generates value without your active involvement. This is why they focus on building or acquiring things that appreciate over time: intellectual property, technology platforms, real estate portfolios, patent collections, brand equity, and market share. These assets work while they sleep, creating value and generating opportunities for further wealth creation. The status-seeking behavior that traps many ambitious people comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of how wealth works. Status symbols are typically depreciating assets that require continuous investment to maintain. A luxury car loses value the moment it leaves the dealership. An expensive watch rarely appreciates enough to justify its cost as an investment. Designer clothes become outdated with each passing season. Future billionaires see these purchases for what they are: wealth transfers from their pockets to someone else's. Instead of impressing others, future billionaires focus on impressing themselves with their asset column growth. They measure their progress not by the brands they wear or the cars they drive, but by the cash flow their assets generate, the market share their companies command, and the value their innovations create for others. This shift in focus from external validation to internal scorecard keeps them aligned with their wealth-building goals. Perhaps most importantly, they understand that assets create options. Each asset in their portfolio isn't just a number on a balance sheet, it's a tool that can be leveraged for future opportunities. A successful company can be used as collateral for expansion. A strong patent portfolio can be licensed or sold. A valuable brand can be extended into new markets. This optionality becomes increasingly valuable as their asset base grows, creating a flywheel effect that accelerates wealth creation. The future billionaire's approach to asset building is also notably patient. They don't chase quick flips or short-term gains at the expense of long-term value. They understand that the most valuable assets often take time to develop and mature. This patience allows them to make decisions that might appear suboptimal in the short term, but create massive value over longer time horizons. They're willing to plant seeds today that won't bear fruit for years, knowing that the biggest returns often come from assets that others don't have the patience to build. Their definition of assets is also broader and more nuanced than most. While others might see only traditional financial instruments as assets, future billionaires recognize that anything that can create value or leverage their time and resources is an asset worth building. This could include automated business processes, strategic partnerships, proprietary databases, or unique market insights. They're constantly looking for new ways to create or acquire assets that can be systematized, scaled, and leveraged for greater returns. Lesson 11. They take responsibility for everything. Future billionaires understand a fundamental truth that separates them from the rest. They are completely responsible for everything that happens in their lives and businesses. This mindset isn't about blame or credit. It's about control and the power to create change. When a project fails, most people immediately look for external factors to explain the outcome. The economy was bad, the timing wasn't right, the market wasn't ready, the competition was unfair. While these factors may influence outcomes, future billionaires recognize that accepting these explanations surrenders their power to shape future results. Instead, they ask themselves probing questions. What could I have done differently? How did my decisions contribute to this outcome? What can I learn to ensure success next time? This radical responsibility extends beyond obvious business decisions into every aspect of their operations. If their team underperforms, they don't blame the hiring market, they examine their recruitment and management practices. If customers aren't buying, they don't blame marketing budgets, they reassess their value proposition. If investors aren't interested, they don't blame market conditions, they improve their pitch and business model. The power of this approach lies in its action orientation. When you believe external factors control your destiny, you become passive, waiting for conditions to improve. When you take total responsibility, every challenge becomes an opportunity for strategic intervention. This mindset creates a bias toward action that accelerates learning and progress. Future billionaires also understand that taking responsibility means controlling their responses to events, not the events themselves. They know they can't control market crashes, natural disasters, or competitor actions, but they can control their preparation, their adaptability, and their strategic responses. This distinction helps them maintain effectiveness even in challenging circumstances. This responsibility mindset extends to their personal lives as well. They don't blame their background for limitations, they work to overcome them. They don't complain about lack of connections, they build them. They don't wish for better opportunities, they create them. This comprehensive approach to responsibility creates a foundation for exceptional achievement. The most powerful aspect of this mindset is its effect on problem solving. When you take responsibility for everything, you start seeing solutions everywhere. Instead of waiting for others to fix issues, you become proactive in identifying and addressing challenges before they become critical. This preventive approach creates substantial competitive advantages over time. Future billionaires also understand that taking responsibility doesn't mean doing everything themselves. Instead, it means acknowledging their role in creating systems, building teams, and establishing cultures that deliver results. They take responsibility for the entire ecosystem they create, not just their personal actions. This level of responsibility requires exceptional emotional maturity. It means accepting uncomfortable truths about your decisions and their consequences. It means acknowledging when your leadership falls short. It means facing reality without sugarcoating or self-deception. This emotional honesty creates the foundation for genuine growth and improvement. The ultimate expression of this mindset is in how future billionaires handle success. They don't attribute their achievements to luck or timing, though they acknowledge these factors. Instead, they analyze the specific decisions, actions, and strategies that contributed to their success. This analytical approach allows them to replicate and scale their successes while learning from their failures. Responsibility mindset becomes self-reinforcing over time. As future billionaires take ownership of more aspects of their lives and businesses, they develop greater capability and confidence. This increased capability leads to better outcomes, which further reinforces their belief in the power of taking responsibility. The cycle creates exponential growth in both personal effectiveness and business results. Lesson 12. They play long-term games with long-term people. The path to extraordinary wealth isn't a sprint. It's an ultra-marathon played over decades with carefully chosen partners. Future billionaires instinctively understand this fundamental truth and orient their entire approach to business and relationships around long-term thinking and long-term players. These wealth creators recognize that the most valuable opportunities aren't found in quick schemes or temporary alignments, but in deep, sustained relationships with others who share their extended time horizon. They seek out and connect with people who demonstrate the rare ability to delay gratification, think in decades rather than quarters, and prioritize sustainable value creation over short-term gain. When future billionaires evaluate potential partners, employees, or collaborators, they look beyond immediate capabilities or current positions. Instead, they assess character traits that indicate a long-term orientation, consistency, integrity, intellectual honesty, and the ability to maintain relationships through both successes and setbacks. They understand that someone's track record of maintaining long-term commitments often matters more than their raw talent or current achievements. This long-term orientation manifests in how future billionaires structure their business dealings. They prefer equity over immediate cash, knowing that ownership in growing enterprises compounds over time. They invest in relationships that might not yield returns for years or even decades. They make decisions based not on what's expedient today, but on what builds enduring value and trust. The power of playing long-term games becomes particularly evident in how future billionaires handle adversity. While others might cut corners or burn bridges for short-term advantage, they maintain their integrity and honor their commitments even when it's costly to do so. They know that their reputation for reliability and fairness compounds over time, opening doors to opportunities that short-term players never see. These wealth creators also understand the multiplicative effect of bringing together other long-term thinkers. They create environments and cultures that attract and retain people who share their extended time horizon. Whether through their companies, investment partnerships, or personal networks, they build ecosystems where long-term thinking is rewarded and short-term optimization is discouraged. Future billionaires recognize that the most valuable games in life build category-defining companies, developing breakthrough technologies, or transforming entire industries require sustained effort over many years or decades. They are willing to endure long periods of uncertainty and apparent lack of progress because they understand that compound interest applies not just to money, but to relationships, knowledge, and capability. The real magic happens when long-term games intersect with long-term people. When people who think in decades collaborate over years, they can tackle increasingly complex and valuable problems. They develop deep trust and understanding that enables them to move faster and take bigger risks than competitors focused on quarterly results. They can make bold bets that others won't even consider because they know their partners will stick with them through the inevitable challenges. Perhaps most importantly, future billionaires understand that playing long-term games with long-term people creates a form of competitive advantage that's nearly impossible to replicate. While others chase quick wins and tactical advantages, they build relationships, reputation, and capabilities that compound over time. They create value not just through individual transactions or achievements, but through the cumulative impact of sustained, aligned effort toward ambitious goals. The ability to identify, attract, and maintain relationships with other long-term players becomes a self-reinforcing cycle. As their reputation for long-term thinking grows, they naturally attract others who share their orientation, creating networks and opportunities that become increasingly valuable over time. This compounding of relationships and opportunities, more than any single deal or decision, often determines who creates extraordinary wealth and who doesn't.